Re-emergence of Flat explained. Basically, the Earth is a flat disk protected by an invisible barrier called the firmament, a dome-like feature that also happens to be referenced in the Old Testament, so you know it's real. Copernicus, of course, fucked everything up by introducing his theory of heliocentrism. Flat earthers acknowledge that while Copernicus's math was right, he lacked the technology necessary to definitively prove his theory. Still, the idea took hold, governments started preaching it, and a centuries-long lie was born. Quoting Gabrielle Henriette, the theory of the rotation of the Earth may once and for all be definitely disposed of as impracticable by pointing out the following inadvertence. It is said that the rotation takes 24 hours and that its speed is uniform, in which case, necessarily, days and nights should have an identical duration of 12 hours each all the year round. The sun should invariably rise in the morning and set in the evening at the same hours, with the result that it would be the equinox every day from the 1st of January to the 31st of December. One should stop and reflect on this before saying that the Earth has a movement of rotation. How does the system of gravitation account for the seasonal variations in the lengths of days and nights if the Earth rotates at a uniform speed in 24 hours? You don't need to build a rocket to prove the Earth isn't flat, here's the simple science. At the same time, there's a lack of understanding of the science that has long been used to demonstrate that we live on a globe, without the need to leave it. I wish Hughes well with his endeavor, as he has at least been willing to try and prove his theory. Perhaps if more people really could see for themselves the evidence, we might be able to reverse this worrying trend. A good place to start would be by making sure children have the chance to try out simple experiments in school. One of the best documented methods for determining the Earth's roundness was first performed, to our knowledge, by the ancient Greeks. This was achieved by comparing the shadows of sticks in different locations. When the sun was directly overhead in one place, the stick there cast no shadow. At the same time in a city around 500 miles north, the stick there did cast a shadow. Then as soon as Russia and US managed to get rockets in the sky, they realized their error and quickly set about protecting the shameful secret at all costs. The Antarctic Treaty went into place in 1961, making it off-limits to any wandering eyes. It's worth noting here that there's also something called the ice wall, which is the towering expanse of maybe absolute zero, pitch-black ice barriers at the edge of Antarctica that may or may not go on forever and that no human could ever possibly explore.
Hello Flat Earth researchers, debaters and debunkers. Those clouds on the horizon are a perfect example of how perspective is what we see and not curvature. We don't see the bottoms of the clouds hitting the horizon, we see the edges of the clouds hitting them. They are probably about the same height as the clouds closer to us, but because they're further away, they're closer to the horizon. It's as simple as that. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's perhaps a bit harsh, especially given the fact that the stakes are so low. Flat earthers aren't dead, but there's 2,000 years of science riding on this. Nevertheless, it's excruciatingly aggravating to see a slew of celebrities coming out and unabashedly declaring their belief in the flatness of the world. Come on, Kyrie Irving, your team is the reigning NBA champs. Your antics are starting to get Neil deGrasse Tyson riled up again. The problem will, unfortunately, be a persistent one. Nearly every ancient civilization mythologized their perception of the world as a massive flat land floating on the ocean. Thank the ancient Greeks for kicking off the spherical earth gospel, first in 600 BC from Pythagoras, then 500 BC via Parmenides. By 330 BC, the most influential philosopher of Western civilization, Aristotle, came out as a round-earther. By 200 BC, Ptolemy had drafted an atlas of the globe using latitude and longitude lines. Pliny the Elder, A Palav Roman Emperor Vespasian in the 1st century, used his influence to push for greater round-earth acceptance among the empire's populace. It would still be more than a dozen centuries before the Copernican revolution succeeded in demonstrating the Earth is not the center of the universe, but this meant the Church, a central figure in the early days of science, supported the idea of a round Earth.